this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
So Jimmy Kimmel has just been fired from ABC/Disney, and the world is in an uproar. And my friends, once again, we are back to the discussion on free debate. No, we're not here to discuss if Jimmy Kimmel was a terrible host, as Trump seems to think in his wonderful and comical way of tweeting. It's always entertaining when he does it. But Jimmy Kimmel is now out. And why is he out? Well, because of some of the things that he said. Let's jump into it, and I want to hear from you guys. Do you think this is the kind of thing that somebody should be fired for?
Some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction.
Okay, what I say might be a little bit controversial because no, I am not going with a current MAGA position. I'm just going to say that. I don't believe, well, first of all, I'll start with the fact that Jimmy Kimmel being up our screens is a positive for everybody. In my own humble opinion, I do not think he is funny. I do not find the show entertaining. I'm not interested in it. I don't understand how we still allow for this kind of comedy. However, I do think that MAGA is going down a little bit of a dangerous road. A little bit, and I'll explain myself. I am a big believer in free speech. As you all know, we've spoken about it multiple times on this channel. Free speech is important and needs to be protected at all costs. I specifically think that comedy, etc., has importance. Being able to mock things and discuss things and debate things is really okay. Now, I am against cancel culture, which was always a very big part of the more right-wing philosophy. It happens to be that I actually think that I'm more of a centrist that leans more right. I don't think that I'm an extreme right personality at all. But on the cancel culture, I definitely sided more with the extreme right than with the extreme left. I do not think that people should be cancelled for the things that they say. I think that we should be able to talk about it. Again, putting incitement to violence aside, not talking about that. But I think that actually it's a positive thing. When you have different opinions, it brings out, number one, you being able to solidify your opinions and actually understand what you're up against. But number two, let it come out of the woodwork. Don't put terrible opinions quietly. Don't hide them. Let them be public. Let people make fun of themselves. Let people expose themselves for being idiots, and let there be debate. Let there always be debate. And cancel culture was this thing that started with the left, in which they would come after anybody who differed in opinions or who didn't really go along with their theories. And it was bullying, okay? It was adult bullying. We all look at little kids being bullied. We know it's a bad thing. Cancel culture was adult bullying. You have a job. You said that you don't think transgenders should share bathrooms with men or women or whatever it is. You're going to get canceled. You think that you can get away with saying that you don't want to, I don't know, bake a cake for a gay family because you are Christian. You're going to get canceled. They came after anybody who said anything that wasn't aligned with what the left-wing movement believed in. Now, there was complications to this because the left started to become more and more extreme. We're talking about some crazy stories. I mean, we're talking about people who would try and say things like, you shouldn't do gender-affirming surgeries on little kids, and they were getting cancelled. All of their medical work was being shut down. People trying to put forward research, and that was getting shut down. The cancel culture became enormous, and it became every person online's fear. Every person, not just content creators, actors, celebrities, models. You said something that wasn't right. You were caught doing something that wasn't okay, and the cancel culture mob came after you. And the right became very famous for saying, we're not interested in this. We don't want this. The whole podcast movement started because of this. They could see journalists, they could see TV presenters, they could see people being cancelled for things they were going to say. Jordan Peterson's very famous case, Roseanne Barr, very famous case. She, by the way, got fired from ABC for a joke that she made, which is ironic in and of itself. And we saw the right say, we don't like this. You should be allowed to say whatever you want. This is how platforms like Rumble came into existence, and Truth Social, and all of these platforms that really, their entire thing was say what you want and you don't have to fear. Now, with Charlie Kirk's death, there has been a shift. And before we talk about the shift, I want to add and insert something that's important to notice and to think about. It's really important, actually. I have long been a believer that one has to look at your opponents and understand the tactics that they use and be very, very wary of them. Just be wary of them, because once you start using those tactics in your own name, then things can go down a problematic road. What do I mean by that? Cancel culture was always a thing of the left. The left said a certain argument, which was, if you say something that we disagree with, then you don't deserve to have your position. Now, the idea of free speech actually totally agrees and aligns with cancel culture, which is where this starts to get a little complicated. Because free speech says you can say and do whatever you want, but there will be ramifications for your actions, okay? That's what the Charlie Kirk movement right now, the movement of MAGA people to get people fired for saying negative things about Charlie Kirk, which I'm okay with. If you have somebody who's celebrating somebody's murder, I don't know if you want them as an employee. That's not a good thing. But it's a red line. It's a red light for the MAGA movement, okay? And it's an important one. You see, the free speech argument says do something, and Elon Musk speaks about this a lot. Do something, say whatever you want, but you might have to pay the price. Say something that's really not okay, and you'll pay the price for it. And that is free speech. Like, you will pay the price. That's okay. You shouldn't. The problem with free speech is when somebody takes away your ability to say something, okay? And this is where the lines get blurred. Because what does the ability to say something mean? Meaning, if you want to say something and you know that you could potentially lose your job, have you now lost the ability to say something? Elon Musk believed that you should have platforms like X, right? Platforms like Rumble, platforms that you could literally say anything and you should have the platform to speak out. But if in case you did say something that was wrong, then there was going to be ramifications. You could potentially get fired from your job. Now, the left kind of took that idea and pushed it into this mentality of, we're going to make you so fearful for the things that you might lose that you're not going to be actually psychologically able to say the things that you want to say, right? Do you understand the difference and the complications in there being a space? The difference between somebody cutting out your tongue versus saying, you can speak, but if you say it, I'll cut off your head. Where does the line lie? And it's a complicated line. And it's a line that I'm afraid right now with what I'm seeing. With this whole getting Charlie Kirk's, people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's death being kicked out of their jobs. Look, ramifications for your actions. You're going to celebrate something terrible. There's a price to that. And I understand that. I'm all for it. I believe it. I agree with it. I would not want to have somebody working on my team who did that. But I do think that we have to be very, very careful, because we are starting to do exactly what they do. Say something that we don't like. Say something that we don't like, and we're going to come after you. Now, that's what's been happening with Jimmy Kimmel. I think Disney made a courageous decision. They don't like what he said. I don't particularly think that this is extreme. I think that the conversation at the moment and putting the blame on MAGA when this is clearly a lefty agenda thing is not right. It's not right, but Jimmy Kimmel has been manipulating people into wrong ideals for years. That's what he's been doing with his comedy. That's what the entire Hollywood thing has been. Taking horrible ideals and making them mainstream and normalizing them. That's a problem in and of themselves. But this issue is a little bit more complicated. And I ask you, should people who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's death be punished for it? Should people who are, let's say, pro-Palestinian be punished for it? Again, my gut says yes, because there is wrong and there is right, and this is wrong. But the question is, how far does it go? Who decides what is wrong or what is right? Is it me? Is it the powers that be? Is it the left? Is it the right? What if they start to say that about Jewish opinions? What if they start to say that about Israel, which is exactly what's happening? Say something about Israel and you might get penalized for it. Say something against Israel. This is the massive debate around Charlie Kirk. Was he saying things against Israel? Was that why he was potentially murdered? Candace Owens and her crazy theories. This is a really complicated conversation. I don't have clear answers on it right now. I don't have clear answers, but I do think it's something that we really, really need to be thinking about. Do we want to be taking the left's tactics? When does it go too far? There are massive databases of everybody who said negative things about Candace. And again, we've reviewed the disgusting leftist commentary, and I think that every employee should know that people like this exist. There should be ramifications for it. But when does it stop? When does the becoming like the extreme left stop on the right side? I don't know. Now, bear with me for a second, because if you're on this channel, then hopefully you like what we're doing and you believe in us and you want to help support us. And one of the best ways to do that is to help us make this financially lucrative. And to do so, for us to be able to keep on providing a huge amount of content, we've had to find sponsors. But I'm going to let you in a little bit of secret that I am really careful about the sponsorships. We've had hundreds of offers over the years, people who want us to promote their stuff. And I've always been very uncomfortable with that, because if it's not 100% aligned with my values, I am not okay with it. Which is why when we found Artsabox, I was so happy. So scan the QR code. But what are Artsabox? They're a subscription that you can buy a box, okay? And it arrives, and that box is full of different things from different Israeli businesses that have been directly impacted by everything that's going on here. It's a box of presents, which is amazing and wonderful. And not only does it connect you to Israel and to the homeland, it supports Israelis who need it. And that is the thing that I love more than anything. Helping the Jewish people, helping the Israeli people to be supported, to have a livelihood in a time that is so complicated. So use the code MEIRA at artsabox.com for a 10% discount. And thank you for supporting them. Thank you for supporting this page and for allowing us to continue to do what we need to do to make this page happen. And now that we've got that sponsorship over and done, and I appreciate you guys still being here with me for it, that's what we have to discuss. We have to see where the red lines are. Where do they end? Where do they begin? What is going on with our society? How do we make sure that we don't end up like those crazies? Because we're seeing the crazies pop on our side. We're seeing the conspiracy theories. We're seeing these nut jobs push their own agendas to the point that they can't hear any other agendas. And I think that is wrong. What are your thoughts? Please let me know in the comments. And know that I read every single one of your messages. I read all of them. I love them. The hate ones, the positive ones, they give me so much energy to keep going. The hate ones make me realize how important our mission is, and the people who support us and who love us just make me feel like we're doing the right thing. So thank you guys. And remember that 80% of the people who are watching this video are not subscribed to the channel. Every time somebody subscribes, likes, comments, shares, does something, you massively impact our growth and allow us to get the important messages out there. So as a favor to me, Mira, if you appreciate the content, please like, comment, subscribe, do your thing to help this page continue to grow. Thank you for your attention to this matter.